Are you dreaming of going overseas to teach English, but it seems as if every country is requiring a degree for you to legally teach there? The good news is that some countries don't require a degree for you to legally teach. In this video, I will show you how and where you can get a job as an English teacher without a degree. Yes, it is true that certain countries like China, South Korea, Japan, and the Middle East will require a degree, but also there are parts of Asia, Latin America, and even Europe where you can teach English without a degree. Beginners without degrees often run into the same fears. I'm not qualified. No one will take me seriously. I can't compete with other native speakers who have bachelor's degrees. But these are just myths. If you can speak English fluently, are responsible, and you care about helping people, then you already have something very valuable to offer. And today, there are more alternative paths now more than ever before. So that's the point of this video. You can teach English abroad without a degree, offline or online, and I will show you how and where you can do it. Right now, this kind of information is especially important. The job market is shifting. More people want more freedom and want more opportunities for remote work, and the ESL world is evolving. Knowing your options means having power and more chances to build a life that you actually love. So what do you actually need to teach English abroad without having a degree? The first thing you need is a TEFL certificate. TEFL stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language, and this will show schools that you're already prepared to teach, even if you don't have a university degree. Depending on the country, like Vietnam, for example, you may also need to take an English proficiency exam, and you'll need to score at least a 7 or higher on your IELTS exam. Employers will want a TEFL certificate with at least 120 hours, with some practical elements added in as well, such as actual teaching in the classroom and some lesson planning. You don't need the most expensive course out there, but it needs to be something that's accredited and professional. So where can you actually get TEFL certified? You've got the options of in-person or online. Online is going to be more affordable and more flexible. The course should also be very recognizable and should provide you a certificate that you can use on job applications. Besides your TEFL certificate, you should also prepare a few additional things. Have a resume that shows your teaching experience or related teaching experience. Also provide a cover letter. Give some basic background information about yourself and what you want out of teaching abroad. And I also recommend having a sample lesson that you can record or even a short intro reel about yourself. This can be anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes long. Just give a basic introduction about yourself that you can send to potential employers. Let's talk about one of the best places to start teaching without a degree, Latin America. Latin America is actually very friendly to teachers without a degree, and it's one of the best places to start without a bachelor's degree. So where are the easiest places to find work? Countries like Mexico, Peru, Colombia, Costa Rica, and Nicaragua are all good options. There's a high demand for English, especially in private language center academies, and you even have opportunities to teach both offline and online. So what should you keep in mind before jumping in? Life in Latin America is vibrant and full of culture, but it's also very different. You'll need to adapt and realize that paperwork may be slower, and you will need to have a very flexible schedule. Safety and healthcare can vary by location, so do your research before choosing a city. Now, what about salaries? They are typically modest, anywhere from $500 to $1,200 US. It ultimately depends on the city and the type of job. Although the salaries may not be as high, the cost of living is much lower, so your money can take you farther than you may think. And in many places, that's enough to eat well, pay rent, travel and explore, and even save a little bit of money. Now, let's talk about Europe. Can you actually teach abroad in Europe without EU citizenship? In some places, it's still possible. While Western Europe is strict with visa requirements and degree requirements, Southern and Eastern Europe, they're much more flexible. Countries like Poland, the Czech Republic, Romania, Hungary, and Spain, they hire teachers without university degrees, especially for summer camps, freelance positions, and even positions at private language centers. It's not always easy, but it's definitely possible. But the reality is that it's going to be much easier for people with EU citizenship to get these jobs. So what about the EU passport issue? Yes, it can be a barrier, but it is not a deal breaker in all cases. Some schools are open to hiring non-EU citizens if they are already in the country on a tourist, student, or on a working holiday visa. Some places may also hire you if you are on a freelancing visa or if you're doing private lessons. If you're on a student visa, then you can definitely get part-time work at a local language center assisting the local native teacher. Competition can be high, especially in bigger cities, but don't let that stop you. So, if you've been dreaming of teaching abroad in Europe, but you don't have an EU passport, don't lose hope. With the right mindset and the right strategy, there is still a chance for you to get in. Now, let's talk about Asia. When people think about teaching English abroad in Asia, they typically think of China, Japan, and in South Korea. But these countries require a degree. So you may be asking yourself, is Asia still off limits? It is not. Countries like Cambodia are one of the very few countries in Asia that don't require a university degree for you to legally teach there. So why is Cambodia a perfect launching pad for you to begin your teaching career abroad? First, there is a high demand for English teachers. Second, the cost of the thing is low. Getting hired is typically about your TEFL certification. Without a degree, you can still work in private language centers, you can do private tutoring, and you could even teach English to young business professionals. There is flexibility, and once you build experience teaching English in Cambodia, it can open other doors to other places in the region. Speaking of Asia, teaching in Vietnam is still possible. You will need an English proficiency exam, a pedagogical certificate, and you'll need to score at least a 7 or higher on an IELTS exam. So, if you're planning on moving to Asia without formal education, always make sure you research the visa requirements and always make sure you are TEFL certified. Up to this point, we've mainly been speaking about teaching English offline in the classroom, how to do that without a degree. But what about teaching English online without a degree? If your dream is to travel the world and still make a steady income, then teaching online can be the perfect solution, even without a degree. Programs like Preply, italki, and Amazing Talker allow you to teach conversational English without a bachelor's degree. Some of these platforms will even let you set your own rate and choose your students. Of course, it is always better to have a TEFL certificate. So why is teaching online such a perfect option? Simple, you have more freedom. Imagine being in Thailand, Mexico, Bali, or even Portugal. Think of any beautiful place. You can teach online. As long as you have a stable internet connection, you can do it. No need for work permits and dealing with school contracts. All you need to do is just set your own schedule, get your students, and you're good to go. Work from the comfort of your home and explore a new country on your terms. So, what about the legal stuff? If you are living abroad long term, some countries may ask you to register with immigration as a freelancer or a sole proprietor. This is especially true if you're staying on a visa that allows for remote work. But the good news is that you can always handle these things later. Just make sure you check up and follow up on the local visa and immigration laws regarding teaching online and working remotely. You can also speak with an expat group in that country on Facebook, or you could even talk to an immigration lawyer. So, if you are ready for a lifestyle of freedom, flexibility, and adventure, then teaching online could be the perfect path for you. The opportunities are there. You just have to step up and seize the moment. So, you want to teach, but you don't have a bachelor's degree. Where do you go from here? Here is your step-by-step starting point. Get a TEFL certificate that is accredited. Build a simple but professional resume and portfolio. Decide which country you want to teach in and research the visa regulations. And just start applying. Don't wait until you're ready because that day may never come. A lot of people get stuck in the eternal prep mode. They'll spend months and months of researching, watching videos, but they actually don't make a move, ever. The faster you make a move, the better. And let's be honest, you actually learn by doing, not just by sitting around and waiting for that perfect day. You just need to get started. And to help you do that, I've added some useful and helpful links below. Some trusted and accredited TEFL courses, visa research tools, and recommended job platforms. And if you're still feeling unsure and you just need some guidance, book a one-on-one consultation with me. I will get to know your background, your situation, and your goals, and I will help you make the right choice. Just click the link in the description below. You don't need a degree to change your life. You just need a plan and the courage to follow it. Let's do this together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.